Well, the exam is in just under 24 hours from now, and all weekend I've been trying to churn through all of the information in the course, just trying to get a big, broad, 50,000-foot view of the whole thing so that I can basically cover as much of the material as I possibly can. And it has been really tough. All weekend I've been really worried I basically just would not get through it all. But now I'm finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's ridiculous to me that my so far 3-page cheat sheet has over 6,000 words on it. People I've been working with are sending me little pictures of their cheat sheets that are in progress, and because I'm just trying to summarize top big principles only, mine isn't actually taking up that much space because I want to be able to visually see everything as it moves along. And in fact, here's a little visual demonstration of the evolution of my cheat sheet over the last few days. I am tired, I've been having headaches. If I've been awake, I've been working, and if I can't work, I just go right to sleep. I cannot wait for this to be over. Well, I've printed my outline, I got my hot chocolate, the exam's in 45 minutes. All I can do now is go sit down and wait, and then it'll be over.
Hi.
How are you feeling, Fiona?
I'm so stressed. I'm dying. How are you feeling?
I am so stressed that I'm not stressed. There's like a zen moment that I'm experiencing right now.
I think we're both just really excited to be done with staying forever.
Because exams have been going on for so long, the semester's been going on for so long, preparing for this has been going on for so long. It's just gotta end.
Ready for 1L to be over.
Okay, let's get settled.
Sounds good.
Bye. And that's 1L.
I don't know,
done.
we should do jazz hands.
Jazz hands? I can do one jazz hand.
We're just hanging around for posterity.
Yes, let's go get snacks.
Alright, I need to eat.
They're sponsored.
I need to eat a sandwich.
And that's a wrap. 1L is finished. People were asking each other, how do you feel? And I honestly can't even really describe how I feel. Like, it's just this collapse of all of this stress and effort that went on for days, weeks, and now it's all finished. It's just like this tremendous weight has been lifted, and I don't even know how I am going to fill my time over the next few days. Like, I just don't know, because like I said earlier that if I'm not working, I'm sleeping, and that's because I definitely, if I was awake, I had to be performing and making something or working on something and learning something. And as soon as I started feeling like, okay, I'm now working really slowly, this isn't being very effective, I just went to bed. And that means I could be taking a nap at 5 o'clock or going to bed for the day at 9:30. And it's strange because of the effect of that. I have a strange sense of what time of the day feels late now. Like, I look at the clock and I'm thinking, oh, it's 3 o'clock, it's getting really late in the day because I only have 2 hours left until my good working hours start to evaporate. And so I'm starting to plan my days like that. And now that entire framework just gets to disappear, and I get to do whatever I want. I'm delighted that that ended. Plus, the exam itself went okay. This was not going to be my strongest one, and it wasn't. But I had enough coverage of the material that I could really hold my own for, well, certainly the multiple choice questions, and there were short and long answers that I think I did fine on. Not going to be wonderful, but at least I got through it. And I think that was a pretty good way to end the exam period, actually. Just like I said before, just crawling over the finish line. And that's what I've done. Something that I didn't even mention before, though, was that in the midst of all of this exam week, I'd really abandoned trying to figure out what I was going to do for the summer, because thinking about that just took up too much time. I didn't have the energy to focus on that. And I applied to one thing. The Osgoode Venture Capital Clinic was doing a volunteer position that is low intensity, low hours, and I thought that would be a good fit. I didn't really have time to think about writing a cover letter or doing the application properly, So I threw together an application really quickly, basically just changed the names of a cover letter I'd already written, and just sent that in. And yesterday I got it. Which was a really nice boost in the middle of the day working for state as well. It was nice news to get. But oh my goodness, that was it's just a nice little last thing to be fit into place for the summer. And otherwise, that's it. That's the year. In many ways, it feels like the beginning of the year was just yesterday. I was sitting right here when I said I'm going to school for orientation, and now it's the end of my last exam.
I was like, yes, Scott will love this. Yeah, oh, for sure. I was like, Edward's living tree doctrine.
The rest of this week has been quite anticlimactic in comparison. For starters, I spent pretty much all day in bed on Wednesday, just recovering from the party on Tuesday. Good choice. I'm pleased with how I spent that day. In fact, I was comparing the contrast of the days leading up to the state and citizen exam and the days following, because there couldn't be a more strikingly different series of days. And I mostly just haven't really been doing anything at all. And it's been associated with this really nice feeling of it's okay. There's nothing I really have to be doing right now. That's okay just to spend some time watching Netflix and just sitting around or playing a video game. And it's funny, actually. I watched about 6 episodes of The Good Wife in a row, and you know it's not accurate because it's a drama. It's a legal drama. But it's funny watching it now, and I can all of a sudden start to realize all these new different things that they're doing wrong that aren't exactly accurate to the law. And it's like, oh, this is going to get worse the more I learn about law, isn't it? But, it's been a great couple of days. Just coming down from the level of stress that I was under. And this being the end of the year, I'm going to take a second to reflect on some of the things that have been really beneficial this year. First of all, I think one of the best things has been having this dedicated office here to actually only do law school here, and you've seen how much time I've spent in this room, and I've done a lot of work just sitting at this desk. And just having a place where this is where law school work happens has been extremely valuable. And just on top of that, like even just recording these videos is part of our routine, and having a good routine just built in helps so much because you exactly can predict how much time and where your good time is going to be, and their friction is low in that time if you've got a nice routine that's supporting around it. I also, part of a routine element is when my laptop is sitting here on the charger, I have 2 charging cables for it. There's one charging cable for the laptop that stays here forever, like attached to the desk pretty much, and one that stays in my backpack forever, so that I know I will never forget my charging cable. I'll never be in a situation where, oh no, I left it at home, or I left it in my locker, or whatever. And just part of that habit of making sure my laptop is always fully charged, even though theoretically I'm always somewhere where I can charge it, came in handy, because what I did not realize was during the state and citizen exam, where I'm spending 3 hours sitting there typing into my laptop, I didn't notice that my electrical outlet wasn't working. I just never noticed, because when the exam software comes up, it kind of locks you out of your computer, so I didn't see the taskbar that would normally show me if I'm charging or draining the battery. It wasn't a problem because I've got lots of battery life on the laptop, and it was fully charged since when I took it off the charging dock that morning. But just another, isn't it great that there was a nice little built-in support system that made sure that I didn't run out of battery life in the middle of my exam. And speaking of the laptop, I think another big point has been just data management. So keeping the files on my desktop and the files on my laptop and my backup in the cloud just constantly synchronized with each other with a partially automated system, and also with a bit of a manual oversight, which is as soon as I come home, I put the laptop in the dock and I just run the synchronization routine, and I manually make sure that it's doing the right thing before it synchronizes all of the files. And that's been fantastic, because it means I always know wherever I'm working, I always have the latest set of files. And I can go back in time if I accidentally change something I didn't mean to, or I need to walk back a change I made that was incorrect. But also that extends to just what I've realized law school is, which is data management, which is trying to compress a huge volume of information that's really complicated into something that is small and digestible. And if I can understand it in a very short form, that's law. And being able to apply something that is very simplified onto a new complicated set of circumstances, I think is the lesson that you're supposed to learn. So just overall data management from laptop and desktop, and then just data management from cases to legal ratios, that's what I needed to be doing. So just data management is law school. And some things that didn't quite work out was on the computer I did have another system that I knocked together, which is just a web-based task management system. And that was my idea, to make sure that I would always, no matter where I go, I have one task list that I would keep up to date. And I didn't use that. It turns out it was far superior just to use the whiteboard that's sitting in my office and just write what I needed to do. And what I did do is I put numbers on magnets, so I could just move the magnets around to say this is the next important thing, and these are the things you do next. So it was very dynamic. I couldn't access it when I'm at home or on the go, when I'm at school or on the go, but when I'm at home, it's where I call it my operations command center, and it's where I decided where the next things were coming from. The last thing I think that was the most important thing I learned this year, was just to share everything, almost without limit, with my colleagues. A lot of stuff I would keep to myself, the stuff that I really was like, these are the legal principles as I understand them, and distilled into my very short vocabulary. But otherwise, if anyone ever missed a lecture and they wanted my lecture notes, no questions asked. Here you go. And if someone, in fact, I was recording a bunch of lectures this semester as well, because sometimes the official recording wouldn't work. And I would just post that in the Facebook group saying, here you go. If you missed today's lecture, go listen to it here. And I was doing a lot of that in the first semester, but in the second semester, I really realized that it's really not going to help you very much just getting one set of lecture notes, just getting one class. I've developed a visual appreciation for studying the law, which is when you're in a class, when you're learning a single concept, it's like you're in a labyrinth and you're just sitting at one intersection, and that's all you can see that's in front of you, and you don't know the relationship between this and everything else. But once you finally start understanding how everything connects and relates to each other, it's like you are above and you're looking down at the maze and you can see the entire map in your head. And only then do you understand what that little thing that you were doing in class that one day was, and how it fits and how it connects. And that, again, is, I think, what you're supposed to get, which is why I love making these really short outlines, because then they are, in effect, my map of the law for that course. So that's been great, just to kind of experience that whole full circle of like data management and then sharing data, because it really helped me if I was ever missing anything, and then distilling that data to very small, digestible pieces so that I can draw a little visual map for myself. And speaking of full circle, I guess here I am at the end. This is, in effect, the season finale of my vlog for first year law school. The intention of starting these video diaries was twofold. First, it was a record for myself, because I'm sure I was going to forget tons of important things that were going to happen to me over the year, because as you remember, every week was like a ton of new things. And so that will be a very helpful thing for me to reflect on in the future. But also, it was my effort to try and reach out to you, the people in my life that are important to me. So if it's someone interests you at all, I'm going to try and keep recording these videos to let you know what's going on in my life, and I hope that you will continue to reach out to let me know what's going on in yours. And I think that has been effective, because I didn't miss a week. This is episode 32, so that's the number of weeks of ongoing school that it has been, and it's kind of neat to be sitting here at the end. And at the end of the last exam, people were saying, have a good summer. And that kind of caught me off guard, because as you knew in the last episode, I thought it was March when actually it's April. And now it's April and people are telling me to have a good summer. And so I don't know what day of the week it is or what month it is or what I'm going to be doing with a lot of my summer. But what I do know is that the end of first year has arrived, and I get to look back on this and say, wow, what an experience that was. And thank you for tuning in and actually reaching out to me and showing me what's been going on in your life. And it's been great to be in your living rooms and on your phone as you've been watching this. So thank you for going along for this ride with me. It has been one heck of an experience. Thank you.